Okay, so my fourth technology that I use in my classroom is Seesaw. I use Seesaw every single day. I think I would be lost without Seesaw in my classroom. This particular Seesaw that I have loaded right now is actually my Seesaw class from this last year. I have not archived it just yet, so I will have to be very cautious in what I show you so it does not show my students, just for privacy issues. Like I said, I use Seesaw every single day. I use it for a variety of purposes. I use it for bell work. I use it for exit slips. I use it for assignments. I use it for parent communication. I just have lots of features for it. So starting off my bell work, I use activities. This is one of the features of Seesaw. It's actually fairly new. The nice thing about activities is there is a large library of preloaded activities that you can utilize, but you can also create your own activities, which is what I do for bell work. So my bell work, my students log on to their iPads. They have their app. They have their username and password, which is just an email address and then a password that they create. They then log on, they go to their activities, and they answer my bell work question. My bell work questions are just random questions like, what would you do if you won the lottery? What would you do if you had 3 wishes? What's your dream? How are you going to pursue your dream? Just various things like that. I like it because I get to know the students on another level. This is just their one platform to say what they want. They can answer however they want. It's kind of like our classroom Facebook page, but more appropriate, more user-friendly, more educationally driven. After the students post their response to their bell work, all of my parents are connected on Seesaw. In fact, I think a majority of them had the app on their phone, so they were instantly getting alerts when their students were posting, when I was messaging them, whenever any activity was going on Seesaw. So from there, the parents could read their students' response and then respond. And I think that was one of the coolest things throughout the day, was seeing how the parents interacted with their students' responses to these questions. Because I feel like a lot of times these questions are things that people don't really ask. If I did win the lottery, I know what I would do, but how often do people ask you that? And things like that. So that was cool. I know the kids enjoyed reading each other's responses. They enjoyed responding. They enjoyed seeing what their parents said and things like that. Within my math and science, I used it kind of as another platform for homework, for students to show what they know. In math, there were activities that I used that the students had to show what they know about simplifying fractions. This was one unit that was pretty hard for my students, so it was neat for them to have a different means of showing how they know what to do. So this is just one of the templates that I used from the activity library on Seesaw. I added it to my library, and the students then respond to it. So they click add, and then they go through and they look at these fractions in the middle and drag them to the either not simplified or the simplified column. And then they submit it to their journal. I'm not going to click on journal because their names would load right here. But then I can go in and look at the work that they've done. From there, I would assign a grade to PowerSchool using this platform. In science, we used activities also. We used them more for the emoji keyboard. The students were able to break down their emojis into what emojis represent liquids, what emojis represent gas and solids, and the students really enjoyed that. They were then able to share it back onto their Seesaw journal, and then their parents were able to see it as well. So that was another way of, hey, what'd you learn at school today? Oh, I know what a solid is. I know what a liquid is. We then did the same thing for our food chains. We used emojis to represent what would be an herbivore, what's an omnivore, and what's a carnivore. We also filled in what kind of foods would animals in this category eat. So it was a little more of applying what they knew, which was neat. And then the students had fun going through their emoji keyboard. They were encouraged to use emojis, and that's something that doesn't always happen in school. So the kids really liked that. So that is all of activities. Again, the journal, each student has their own journal, and everything they share is then posted to their journal. So in my Miss Hecker 5B area, this is where we would post our writing celebrations. So my students, when they were done with a writing unit, they would publish it to PowerPoint. They would publish it to Adobe Spark, Adobe Video. I kind of left it up to them on what kind of app they wanted to use. Some of them created books on Book Creator. And from there, once they were done posting to those apps, they would then share it on Seesaw. So then we could go through and look at other classmates, provide discussion points, and encourage their parents to watch it, and just kind of build that community, practicing our cyber etiquette. How do we respond? When we're responding online, we need to use proper sentences, things like that. So it was just constantly reinforcing good behaviors, things that we're already learning in the classroom. It was just another platform to show what we know. And then my last feature of Seesaw that I will talk about is Inbox. All of my parents are connected, like I said, so if I had something I needed to share, or a reminder, volunteer help, things like that, good behavior notes, if there were issues, I found that parents enjoyed Seesaw better. In fact, they contacted me more times using Seesaw than email. So that was just the preferred means of communication, which I was okay with. I kind of let it up to them. I do like that it was instant. I found that parents responded quicker to Seesaw than actual emails. It has a very similar format to Facebook Messenger, as in that when messages are open, when they're read, I can see it on my end. So that was nice, and parents could see it on their end if I've read their message. So it wasn't like there was an ignoring factor. Like with emails, I feel like oftentimes they're opened and not always responded to, whereas with Seesaw, I know. Skills and blog, those are two features I have not used. They're more of paid features, so I haven't really ventured out. We only have the free account of Seesaw, which you're limited on what you can do. With activities, I found that by Christmas break, I was out of room in my library to creating and utilizing new activities, so I became a Seesaw ambassador. It was a free training that the Seesaw website offered. I watched some videos, engaged in some discussions, and just like that, I was awarded the ambassador badge. So then I was able to post an unlimited amount of activities. I'm recognized by my school as an ambassador, so if there are other teachers who are struggling with Seesaw, they know that they can come to me, and I can try and get them some help or answer their questions. So Seesaw has some pretty cool features. Like I said, would be lost without it. I think a lot of teachers do utilize Seesaw, and it's just a nice way to build your classroom community.